Hello, you are currently listening to Crayfish in Brazil. With me always is my good friend Space. This is another episode of ranking your favorite cartoons on a tier list. And we still have the shows that got 0 votes in the popularity poll. All the shows that start with the letter M. Starting with Mad, which I'm putting in A tier. This was a Cartoon Network show, came out around the same time as Adventure Time and all them other ones. This was a skit show. Honestly, they'd just make a bunch of pop culture references and combine them with something else, take two pop culture references and put them together and make a skit about them. Throw in some toilet humor here and there. It was very hit or miss, I would say.
That is the way to sum up this show, is hit or miss. It had some good bits, but a lot of bad bits. It kind of just depended on the thing they were doing the bits about.
They would have some clever stuff in there sometimes.
It's basically just robot chicken for babies. Every now and again, it did have a good bit. Spy vs. Spy was awesome. Anytime it did anything about anime, always sucked, no matter what. It really just depended on what the things were they were making fun of the given day. And whether or not they had an actual clever bit with it, or if it was just the most surface level jokes you could possibly make about a thing, or a joke having to do with the names of the things they're making fun of.
Yeah, I feel like the more research that's done about whatever they're parodying, the better those turn out to be, and the more clever the jokes they can make out of. If it's just surface level stuff, it doesn't stick. I did love Spy vs. Spy, though. Spy vs. Spy is a classic.
It's true.
And one thing I do remember about this show is they did an episode. It was a parody of the movie Lincoln, but with King Kong. So King Kong as Abraham Lincoln. And then in the skit, they do an Iron Lady, Iron Giant, but it's Margaret Thatcher, which was a callback to a previous episode. And they did that, where Abraham Lincoln, King Kong, kills Margaret Thatcher, Iron Giant. And I remember that episode, and then within the same week, Margaret Thatcher died in real life. So, I remember that.
Yeah, thank you, Mad, for killing Margaret Thatcher. We're all very grateful to you for that.
Next is Maggie and the Ferocious Beast. I'm also putting it in as a preschool show based off of a children's book series, and they just made a cartoon about it, and I mean, it's okay. It's not too bad. But I will say, I don't like how the Beast looks. I don't like how he's got just a human face on whatever body that is. I don't like it. Next is The Magician. I'm putting The Magician in not very good. It's like an action spy series about this guy he's a magician. He does stunts, Daredevil type stunts in real life. The first episode, he jumps out of a plane to catch a jetpack canister while it's free falling through the air and tries to land safely with it, but some guy tries to blow him up with a bomb instead. Stuff like that, and you'd think it'd be really interesting, but it's
so much more boring
it's so
than it's
boring.
down.
It's so slow-paced. The thing that I'm describing, it takes 10 minutes to build that up. It's so slow and boring. They don't know anything about pacing. Voice acting wasn't great, but I think this is a French show and it was dubbed, so I can't recommend this one.
There's just no energy to it. I think it's a thing that a lot of French shows suffer from, where it just has the most wooden acting in the dub. Everything just feels so stiff and lifeless, and that probably didn't do it any favors, but the show just feels so unenergetic. Everything we described sounds like it would be awesome, right? But the actual act of watching the show will basically put you in a coma.
It's just people talking for most of the time. They hardly do anything actually cool in it. I guess they can't all be like Legend of Calamity Jane. They can't all be that good.
Yeah.
Next is Maisie. I'm putting Maisie in not very good. This is a preschool show. I think in the same boat, where I also think it was made as a children's book first, and then got its own cartoon. I didn't think it was very good. I thought it was put this on to entertain your kid. I'm not gonna say brain rot, because it's not that bad, but I don't see how anybody could get anything out of this one. Now we got another preschool show, Make Way for Naughty, and I'm actually putting this one in pretty good, which is kind of high for a preschool show on this tier list, judged by me. This one, I kind of like. It's got a nice art style to it. It's got a fun protagonist of this troublemaker, elf kid
I do remember the one episode we watched had like an interesting and funny premise to it.
Yeah, the premise of the first episode of this show is he's got this elf kid has some like elf granddad or whatever the character was supposed to be who knows some magic, and he uses it to like make a clone of a flower or whatever. And then Naughty, the protagonist, he has to do a chore. He has to go pick somebody up from like the airport or the train depot or whatever it was. I forget all the details, but he's like, I don't want to do this errand, so I'm just gonna clone myself and make my clone do it. And then of course, once they separate, the clone makes a clone of himself, and before you know it, there's like 1 billion of these, the elf kids just running amok in the town, causing mischief, trying to get out of doing an errand, and it just becomes everybody else's problem. And it was kind of charming. I liked it. I thought it was odd how a lot of the characters have a different art style, like they all feel like they were designed by different people. Like, the main character looks like very round-faced, simple details, but then his grandfather just looks like a Keebler elf with more facial structure. But it's got a nice style to it, almost like it's mimicking stop motion with the CG, but it has its own unique style to it, I think. I like this one. Pretty good preschool show.
I also thought that this was pretty good for like a show for babies. In a sea of other much, much worse things to show to your toddler, this one's alright.
Now I got Making Fiends, the Nickelodeon cartoon, and I didn't really like this one. I'm putting it in not very good. This is a cult classic to some people. They're like, oh, I remember this show. I really liked it. I didn't get it. I thought both the characters were annoying. I don't like their voices. I don't really care for the art style or the stories that it tells or really anything about this show. I don't get the appeal of this one.
I am one of those people to whom this was a cult classic. I saw this one growing up. I disagree. I like this one. I'd probably put this one in or pretty good. We have differing opinions on it.
What do you like about it? I'm glad that you have a differing opinion, because I want someone to explain, because I'm just unable to see it.
I just find that the characters like charming. I like the like vibe of the show, the atmosphere of it. I don't know if the episode we watched was a good example of this, but I remember it being funny. I like this show.
Oh well, to each his own. Now I got Martha Speaks, a PBS Kids cartoon from the 2000s, and I'm putting this one in This is about a dog who eats some alphabet soup, and that causes some kind of mutation to where the dog is now able to speak and understand the English language, and it freaks everybody out. Like in the first episode, everybody reacts like how you would expect them to a dog that can speak. It's like kind of scary to them, actually. So I thought it was kind of charming.
I do like that their reactions basically boil down to, oh fuck, this dog can talk.
Yeah, like, does this dog have rights now? Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this one from when I was younger, and I did like it. I mean, it could have been better, so I'm just putting it in A tier. I think that's a good place for it, but I don't really have anything against it. Next is Martin Mystery. I'm putting Martin Mystery in not very good.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's what even is this? Is it French? Canadian?
This is French, I believe. I believe this is by the like Totally Spies people.
Yeah, there's a lot of like gross out humor in it that didn't need to be there. It's like doing that thing where it's like sort of anime inspired animation with like the facial expressions and stuff, but it's like all over exaggerated. It feels very dated.
It's basically got a pretty standard premise. This man and this girl and this caveman working as like a team to hunt monsters around the world as part of this organization. Pretty simple premise for a cartoon. It feels very French, and I guess if you've watched a lot of French shows, you know what I mean by that. You can kind of tell it's made by the same people who made Totally Spies.
Yeah, it does have the same art style, too.
The most notable thing probably about this show is just that one of the main 3 characters is a caveman.
Yeah, the first episode, they do, the bit where when they first show the caveman, he's working as like a lunch person, like serving food in a cafeteria. cafeteria, and they do like a gag about like, oh, how like gross he is, or just a big buff caveman looking guy like, with a cafeteria. He looks like a background character. Like, okay, this is just a character. They're just doing this for a gag, or this is just what the cafeteria person looks like. I mean, the ugly lunch lady trope is a thing that like every cartoon ever has done or whatever. When they actually reveal that, like, oh, this guy's going on the adventure, like they know him and he's part of like the main, he has third billing in this show. Okay, I didn't know that was gonna happen. But no, he just joins the adventure. Like, this is the third billing character. I wasn't expecting that from the caveman lunch guy. Next is The Mask, and I'm putting it in This is based off of the Jim Carrey live-action movie The Mask, and then they made an animated series out of it with the same name, and it takes place after the movie of the Jim Carrey characters' adventures and like vigilante crime fighting.
I do think this one suffers a bit from the same curse as the Dumb and Dumber cartoon, although this one is definitely way better and a lot more fun. But it has the curse of being a cartoon based on a Jim Carrey movie that does not have Jim Carrey in it. So, like, what are you doing?
I mean, at least it's Rob Paulson.
It is Rob Paulson, one of the few voice actors like good enough to potentially carry that. And as a result, the show's not bad. It's not like great, it's not like revolutionary or anything either, but you know, it's okay. It's more of The Mask. Specifically The Mask from the movie, because The Mask from the movie and The Mask from the comic the movie is based on are two extremely different things, but that's a whole separate can of worms. I'm sure there are videos on YouTube explaining how weird the comic is, but it's alright. Pretty decent 90s cartoon, I would say.
It gets the award of being the best 90s animated series based off of a Jim Carrey live-action movie.
So there's a surprising amount of contenders.
There's this one, Ace Ventura, and Dumb and Dumber. If there's another one, I forgot, but those are the three that are on this tier list, and The Mask wins by a wide margin, I would say. Next up is Masters of the Universe Revelation, and I'm putting this one in not very good. I would put it lower if not for the very first episode of this show. This one, some story about this one, you know, everybody knows about the original He-Man. You've at least heard of it through, like, cultural osmosis. In, like, the 2020s, Netflix released a trailer of this show, and it looked incredible. It's got the song Holding Out for a Hero playing, this, like, action-packed adventure show with He-Man, but it looks like it's going to take itself seriously, but also having all of the goofy character designs and vehicle designs of the original show, but with, like, high-budget animation backing it. Mark Hamill voicing Skeletor. Looks incredible.
And then they do the fucking rug pull after the first goddamn episode.
He-Man dies in the first episode, and then the rest of the show is about Teela just being a bitch to everybody. She's such an annoying protagonist. Like, this isn't really a He-Man show, it's a Teela show. And I got no problem with doing a Teela show, but they make her so insufferable and just the most unlikable protagonist you could ever imagine.
They spend the whole show acting like Adam is this massive dickhead, or Teela does, just because he, had, a secret identity that she's somehow, stupid enough, not to have guessed. It's not like he's, a genius at hiding who he is, for one, and two, it's, his motivations for being secretive about it fucking makes sense by any basic metric of superhero logic. It's really dumb. The show really hopes that you're invested in it because it spends the entire runtime having Teela harp on it and treat Adam like a bad person.
We've seen the first 6 episodes of this show, and eventually they do go to the afterlife and bring He-Man back to life, but he's injured or whatever. Yeah, okay, but I'm not gonna watch any more of this because you've already shown me your hand, and it's garbage. Teela sucks, man, and it's oh yeah, we're just setting up the character to be annoying at first, but I don't know what you're doing, Kevin Smith. I don't know what you were thinking with this show, man. I'm not gonna watch any more of it.
Nobody fucking knows what Kevin Smith is thinking. He's kind of a charlatan.
You knew what we wanted because you just made the first episode of it that. Episodes 2 through 6, that one scene from Invincible where, like, Amber finds out Invincible's identity and, like, gets super mad at him about it. She's like, I knew the whole time. You thought I was unimportant and stupid. Imagine that, but they draw that out for, like, 5 whole episodes, and that's what the whole show is about. But it's about He-Man. I don't want to see that, Kevin Smith! Just for even thinking about this show, I ought to put it lower, but I'm not going to, because the artists and animators did a great job, and that first episode was really something, but it did not live up to after that. Who knows, maybe it actually does, like, get really good by the end of it, but guess what, Kevin Smith? I'm never gonna watch it. Alright, now we gotta talk about a better show, which is Max and Ruby. I'm putting Max and Ruby in A tier.
Sorry, Max and Ruby fans.
Yeah, it's about Ruby. I think she wants the best, but she's also, like, a little bit selfish and controlling, so she does stuff to hinder her slightly destructive little brother Max, so that she can get what she wants. And then the episodes end with it getting resolved in the end, with both of them getting their way, I guess. Ruby learning a lesson, but not really, because, I mean, that's just what the plot of the show is. It's okay. I mean, it's a bit formulaic, but it's a preschool show that's not too bad and not too good, so it's going in A tier.
I've got fond memories this one. I think it's a cute show. You know, it's charming.
I agree.
It's nothing exceptional, unfortunately, so this is about where it goes.
Yeah.
It's ultimately, like, not a bad tier to be. Just means it didn't go any higher.
No. Perfectly fine. Show it to your little 3-year-olds. Then we got Max and the Midnights, and it's going to not very good. I think that putting the word mid in the title was very appropriate.
They want to be Mike the Knight so bad.
First, I will say that it looks amazing. It just looks high budget, movie grade quality, art style, and animation. The lighting, they did a good job with the lighting and shadows, but the writing is awful. It's about this little girl, Max, in like a medieval society. She travels around with her uncle, but then her uncle gets kidnapped by an evil king and taken prisoner, and she has to work together with 3 other kids to save the day. But none of these characters are likable. They're all really annoying, especially the protagonist, because they're all very flat. The protagonist, she looks directly into the camera and says something quippy, and that's like every single joke in this show is her just looking directly into the camera and saying something quippy or fourth wall breaking. And then you got like modern music needle drops during like chase sequences to show how cool and epic they are. This feels like something that should have come out like 15 years ago.
The experience of actually watching it kind of put me in a bit of a fugue state, just because it's just exactly what you've described.
Mid.
So something that feels like it should have come out 15 years ago. Very boring to me.
And now we got something that feels like it came out 15 years ago and actually did come out like 15 years ago, and that's Max Steel. It's about some teenager who gets some experimental prototype gadget that's like a robot that's sentient and talks to him and makes quippy jokes. And it's another one of those shows that's like super extreme and cool about this hero who has to stop the like comically evil villain corporate bad guy. I want to say this is like a Disney XD show, and it definitely feels that way. The characters are they got stretchy animation, very exaggerated movements. The way they talk also feels like Lego Chima level voice acting.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's how the characters talk.
It's weird, right? Because the show it's not the only Max Steel show. Like, this is apparently a media franchise that has been around at least since, I want to say, the late 90s or the early 2000s. Nobody gives a shit about this. I don't know how it's still around. I don't think, like, any of the shows or, like, toys or whatever it's about moved the needle at all or gotten anybody to care about any of it. Or maybe I just didn't grow up knowing any Max Steel kids, you know? But yeah, the show's really mid. It's not good.
Give us a reboot for a show that people actually want, like Jem and the Holograms.
That's what I'm fucking saying. That's what I've been saying for years.
We've continued watching it, and it is still just as good.
It's true.
Uh-oh.
Hey, what do you think you're...
Next is Maya and Miguel. I'm putting this one in not very good. I mean, overall, like, it's okay. It's about these, like, two siblings just doing, like, normal slice of life stuff, but I just thought it was boring. That's why I didn't like it. I'm not a huge fan of the art style either.
I do remember this one. I remember it airing. It's got a certain look about it, the art style. It's like a way worse version of the Juniper Lee art style, I would say. It's one of those shows where nothing really happens in it, you know? Slice of life shit. Not like really particularly interesting slice of life shit. You can pretty much look at this show, I think, and know exactly what it's going to be about and like exactly what it's going to be like.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who remember watching it and probably have nostalgia for it, but I'm not one of those people. I didn't watch this one that much. Okay, now we got Mega Man from 1994.
This one sucks, but it's also awesome.
Originally, I wasn't going to put it on here because I thought it was an anime, but then I found out, oh, no.
Yeah, no, this is made by Ruby Spears.
Yeah, so it qualifies. I only have one thing written down here in my notes about this show, and it's Cutman sounds like Peter Lorre.
Yeah. Oh, man. The fucking voice acting in this show is phenomenal. This feels nothing at all like the Mega Man games, but in a way that kind of kicks ass. The show's really stupid, but it's very fun. I wouldn't call it good, but it's not, like, atrocious. Because it's one of only 2 Mega Man shows, it
what
does
are you talking about? There's only one Mega Man show.
I wish that were the case. Because it's one of only 2 Mega Man shows, this one actually does get the closest to the source material. You know, you've got all the robots. Proto Man is there.
But I won't miss this time.
Oh no! He's gonna blast President Lincoln!
I knew you'd risk yourself for Mr. Lincoln.
This show's actually a pretty fun watch if you're like me and you're a big fan of the Mega Man games. There's even like an episode where they go to the future and they meet X and they deal with the whole Mega Man X continuity of Mega Man, and that's pretty cool. It's a very goofy 90s cartoon at its core, and I can kind of appreciate it for that, because it is like fun and it's funny in this really weird middle ground where it's kind of close to the source material, but also kind of completely fucking doing its own thing that's really funny. I like this show, even though it is shit.
It's got some ironic enjoyment and some unironic enjoyment, so it just kind of perfectly balances out, and I think that air is the perfect place for it. It's no insult to be in air tier. It's just nothing to scream about either. Next we got it's going in pretty bad. Mega Man Fully Charged.
This one's so bad. This one came out way later than the other Mega Man cartoon, which I know you can tell by looking at it. I feel like Mega Man is such an easy show to just make a good cartoon of. It's like, I feel like the Ruby Spears show even got like reasonably close, you know? You just need to like update that, make it a little bit more serious, give it like an art style that actually looks like the Mega Man art style, which is already cartoony. You don't really need to change it. But somehow we got this. This is what we got, and it is nothing at all like the games whatsoever. All the designs are changed. It looks like fucking Get Ed on Jetix. That's what the art style is.
This is the main character. This is what Mega Man looks like in Mega Man Fully Charged, and this, and then right here is the main character of Paw Patrol.
Yeah, he looks like the main character of Paw Patrol. I don't know how you fucked this up that badly. It's such a simple show to just like make a cartoon of. It's just like the premise of Mega Man is just like Astro Boy or like fucking like Robot Boy, which is a different cartoon based on Astro Boy. It's so easy. Put me in a writer's room, I could give you like a blueprint for like a decent Mega Man show within like 30 minutes. It's so easy to do. This is what we get, and we've not gotten another Mega Man show since then, and I blame this one. This one sucks. There's also like a ton of characters in it that just straight up do not fucking exist within Mega Man.
Dr. Wily, no, we're not going to include Dr. Wily. However, we are going to include Dr. Wily's grandson, and he's going to be Mega Man's best friend in the TV show. And also, Mega Man's sister is going to be human.
Mega Man's sister, it's not even like a role. It's like a different character they have like completely just made up for this cartoon.
Yeah, I think they changed the names of both Mega Man Man and role. They have different names.
The only character, an actual, like, real character, is Dr. Light, and even he's been completely changed.
Let's not forget about Mega Mini, the tiny little robot who's super obnoxious and insufferable and lives in Mega Man's head. Let's not forget about him. He's super important, and he's the funniest character that we've ever seen in any show ever made.
He's a funnier character than we've ever had. This show, it's like literally only Mega Man in fucking name only. The only carryovers are the Mega Man branding and license. Mega Man, even though he's completely different from any Mega Man we've ever gotten, fucking Rush, and all the Robot Masters have had their designs completely fucking changed and not look like the games at all. Dr. Wily, like, does not even exist either. He's not even in the show. You get a completely different villain, fucking generic Ra's al Ghul looking motherfucker you've ever seen in your life. It's just bad. Who is this for? Your average kid isn't gonna know what Mega Man is, and this is definitely not going to get them into it unless no other cartoons airing at all where they live. It's just gonna piss Mega Man fans off. So, like, who is this for? Who wanted this?
Whoever made this just read the Mega Man Wikipedia page and then just made a show. It's like, let's just make it Paw Patrol, but use the Mega Man IP. That's what I'm gonna do. Maybe if I were a Mega Man fan, like you were, I actually would put it in garbage.
Still gotta play a Mega Man game at some point in your life.
What about Mighty Number 9?
No. This feels more like a Mighty Number 9 cartoon than a Mega Man cartoon.
Okay, next is Middlemost Post. I thought this one was pretty bad. This was one of the newer Nickelodeon shows, and I hate to be like one of those guys that complains about how shows today, they got the bean mouth art style and the soft rounded corners, but this one actually, it applies to this show. It's just so like safe and sanitized and tries to look all cutesy and squishy and everything, but they try to make the main character this like SpongeBob type character, but I didn't like it. There's no like Squidward or any like straight man to play off of. The closest thing is the human character, and even he just doesn't really have a personality at all from the episode that I saw. I just thought it was like so colorful and obnoxious that it just kind of made me nauseated. I didn't like this one at all. And then there's Mighty Magiswords. I'm also putting this one in pretty bad. This one's a mess. About these two adventurers, these siblings. They have a bunch of like convoluted collection of swords, and every time one of them appears, it says its name like it's supposed to be some sort of collectathon type thing. In fact, I think that's what it was. I think that there was some kind of Cartoon Network app where you had to like keep track of all of it, and it was hyping it up like this big thing of like, oh wow, how many swords are there? Like they're Pokemon or something. None of the jokes are clever. It's like all facetious, quippy humor. The two characters are really stupid. I hate almost everything about this show. And I know all of the stuff that happened behind the scenes. And that only makes it worse.
This show is like, I guess, like the worst of what 2010's Cartoon Network is or was. This show is like what people who complain about Cal art style and like the Bean Mouth think that Steven Universe is like.
It's so like fast-paced and in-your-face and obnoxious. I did not like this one at all.
There's just no substance to it whatsoever. Every single one of the worst aspects of like 2010's Cartoon Network shows just packed into like one show.
Now we got Mike the Knight. Now I'm putting this one in not very good. It's a preschool show, but I think the first thing we gotta say is that this show is hilarious to us specifically because we've had this inside joke for the years, like a decade at this point, whenever this show was actually like airing episodes, about this inside joke about how Mike the Knight is like the most powerful character in all of fiction and can defeat any threat with his godlike strength.
When this was fucking airing, he was like the most powerful fucking guy. It's like if everybody else was a normal person, he was Goku.
Yeah. The show is just about this kid who's like the prince of a kingdom, but he has the title of a royal knight. because of nepotism. So he just pretends to be a knight. He's got his own like suit of armor and like a slide or whatever. I mean, if I were like a knight in this universe, I would be so pissed off. Like, oh my god, this like 8-year-old thinks that he's one of us just because his parents are the king and queen of the kingdom. So he just gets to pretend to be a knight. I'd be so pissed.
It's so funny, though, because that's exactly how knighthood worked, where it is just nepotism.
Yeah. And his sister is a witch who can do, like, spells and shit. And there's, like, magic talking dragons. Supposed to be, like, a preschool show, but all the, like, edutainment stuff just feels, like, kind of crammed in there just to make way for, like, oh, there's this kid and he's a knight, and that's the show. I wouldn't recommend it for anybody. It's just, like, boring. Even for a preschool show, probably. But mainly funny just because of that one inside joke.
Yeah.
Next is Mike, Lou, and Og. I'm putting this one in not very good. This was a Cartoon Network show, even though it doesn't feel like a Cartoon Network show, because it's got that classic-y Supo art style, of like the scribbly characters, just the voice acting and animation, everything about it just screams like 90s Nickelodeon show. But no, this was Cartoon Network, about this girl living on an island and trying to tell all the islanders about life in 90s United States, trying to spread some culture about New York, teaching them about baseball and whatnot. Overall, I kind of just thought it was boring.
I'd say, like, when you compare it to the rest of Cartoon Network's foundational 90s lineup, there's a reason why this one isn't talked about or remembered in the same way shit like Johnny Bravo or Powerpuff Girls or even, like, Cow and Chicken is. I'd say it's very middle of the road and a little mediocre and forgettable. It was alright, but it doesn't feel like a Cartoon Network show at all. It really does feel like a 90s Nickelodeon show, and like not a particularly great one.
Actually, I just realized I read the thing wrong. I actually was supposed to put this in A tier. So there we go. It just bumped up a whole tier just because I forgot my opinion on it. But yeah, all the things I said were still true though. It's just a middle of the road show. I just put it in the wrong tier. And now we got the miscellaneous recommendation of this episode. It's Minecraft Dremel. Now, everybody knows what Minecraft is, okay? And you know, you can make mods or adventure packs for it. Well, this one team of people decided to make basically an entire video game with its own lore and history and world and locations, but it's all done inside of Minecraft, where it's more like they made a game, but Minecraft is the engine. Everything, all the code is just using like Minecraft redstone and command blocks, and they made this big sprawling world, like as big as Breath of the Wild, with its own like ruined cities and villages and civilizations, and it has a main campaign. It makes me so mad that Mojang has not thought of doing anything like this. Like Minecraft story mode, imagine if Minecraft, the actual game, did have an actual campaign instead of that like Telltale game or whatever it was. This is a game that has a main story and quests to do and dungeons to find, unique items and gear that have their own special abilities, but it's all in Minecraft, in this handcrafted, painstakingly detailed world that this team of people made. And it's the most fun that I've had in Minecraft, other than that one time I was in that Ish video.
It is a really, really well-made mod. It's very fun. It's very cool. It's a lot to do. A lot of content. They did just make like a whole fucking game, and it's kind of crazy.
I played through the entire thing and absolutely loved it, and it really sucks that I doubt that many people are ever going to experience it just because of how kind of hidden away it is. You have to like be on the lookout for just Minecraft adventure maps. But this is the best one. All the other ones, I don't think anything will ever compare to the sheer scale and size and quality of Minecraft Dremel. It's got its own like custom boss fights in it. There's one boss fight in it that's so dang good and had me on the edge of my seat. It was one of my favorite boss fights in any video game I've played, I think. And it was in Minecraft, in this custom mod that somebody made. But it's so great, and I highly recommend it. If you're a fan of Minecraft in general, please download it and try it out. Alright, next we got Minoriteam. It's pretty bad. Did you know that Minora Team, it doesn't really hold up well? In fact, whenever it came out, it probably wasn't good even then. Yeah, I kind of hated this one. And not just because it's, like edgy, racially coded humor, but because the edgy, racially coded humor is not funny. It's not clever or witty. It's just, here's like a Chinese guy voiced by Dana Snyder doing like a stereotypical like Chinese voice. And that's it. Like that's the whole joke. Like nothing that they're actually saying is funny. It's just them doing like stereotyped voices. That's it. Animation is awful. It's like 2-cent budget. It's like a motion comic most of the time. It's kind of horrible.
Yeah, this is a very ugly show in like almost every sense of the word, both in terms of like content and just fucking looking at it. It's not really funny. It's kind of funny conceptually, but the actual show has really dumb writing, if you can believe it. Not an enjoyable watch. I thought the show would be a lot funnier than it is.
There's other shows that can accomplish similar jokes but pull them off way better, like Aqua Teen or, I don't know, Black Dynamite. But this show, no. Now we got Miss Spider's Sunny Patch Friends. I'm putting this one in not very good. It's a preschool show. It's got very early primitive 3D animation of these bugs, this spider and the bug children. And, it looks kind of cute and everything, just these bug kids doing slice of life, like bug stuff. And then, oh my god, what is that white spider thing with this fully sculpted human face? What is that thing? Who made this character?
If I saw that thing in my garden, I would fucking destroy it. I'd stop at nothing.
It's so funny and bizarre how, like, all the other characters have, they all look the same. But they got, like, spheres for heads and spheres for eyes. Cute little, like, bug like, drawings almost, like doodles or whatever. And you got this thing who's, like, something out of Scary Godmother. With his, like, human facial features.
Yeah, like, I would say that all the other characters are, like, kind of cute and charming in a way. But then you've just got this guy who's, like fucking terrifying to children. I don't even know what he's supposed to be.
He's a spider.
Why does he look like that when the other ones are, like, normal and fine?
I don't know. I guess they just really wanted us to make us that this one is the villain. And they really wanted us to know that. So they designed him in such a way. I will say it is, I'm gonna use the word iconic to describe that guy. I forget what his name is, like Spidicius or something like that. I could probably Google it, but I don't feel like it. That character was memorable just for the way that he looked, and that is this show's like stamp on pop culture, is that villain spider. Overall, it's kind of boring, just like a bug slice of life show, in the same vein as the Buzz on Maggie, something like that.
Yeah.
And now we've got Mr. T. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the moment we've
all been waiting for.
Mr.
This show
T.
is fucking phenomenal. Mr. T is a very special show because it has a very special main character who you may know named Mr. T. Now, Mr. T, of course, is a celebrity known for his role in the A-Team. But in this show, Mr. T does what Mr. T is best known for, which is being the leader of a troupe of gymnastic teenagers as they go around the country and solve mysteries, Scooby-Doo style. But the best part of this show is that every episode is bookended with a live action segment starring Mr. T himself at the very beginning and the very end of every episode, meant to teach some sort of dubious moral based on whatever happened in that given episode. But most of the time, it kind of only barely makes sense. The best part is just getting to see Mr. T say a bunch of shit. We can play a segment real quick.
I got arrested because my team tried to do something nice for me. Too bad they didn't realize that nothing in life is free. You want to know what that means? You want to know who the real crook was? Keep watching, and you'll find out. It's all part of the case called The Dilemma of the Double-Edged Dagger.
Mr. T within this show, he is voiced by himself, which is great. He's a fucking phenomenal main character. We talked about the live action segments and how great they are, but the actual cartoon is great too. because you've got an all-time classic lineup. You've got Mr. T, you've got gymnastic crime-solving teenagers, you've got a dog that looks like Mr. T, and then a little tiny white boy whose character gimmick is that he thinks he is Mr. T.
Completely forgot about that aspect of the little white boy character.
Yeah, he just acts like and tries to emulate Mr. T, who is his hero.
The Mr. T cartoon is one of the most ironically hilarious shows that we could put on this list. Like, just watching an episode of Mr. T in a Discord call with friends is a truly magical experience because of how the show is not trying to hide the fact that it is a Scooby-Doo ripoff at all, except instead of Scooby-Doo, it's Mr. T. They do have a dog. The dog doesn't talk, but the dog does have a mohawk like Mr. T.
The show is phenomenal, and obviously it was the inspiration for Chuck Norris Karate Commando and the Gary Coleman Show. This is of that same breed, and it's what inspired Mike Tyson Mysteries. But it's a really funny show. I think it is one of my absolute favorite, ironically good shows. It is fucking hilarious. In fact, I think Adult Swim briefly actually acquired the rights to this, along with the Gary Coleman Show, just to broadcast episodes of it on Adult Swim, just because it's funny enough by itself to feel like an Adult Swim show, even though it was made with complete earnestness back in the day. This show's great. I fucking love the Mr. T show.
And being the tier for all the ironic enjoyment shows to go in, it was partially made in mind just for the Mr. T show. It's so great to just make jokes about the Mr. T show. It's awesome. Now there's MODOK, the stop-motion MODOK show that they made a few years ago. It's not very good. Patton Oswalt is MODOK, and, the whole deal being MODOK's a loser, nobody takes him seriously, and this is supposed to be like a very meta show about MODOK and what a loser of a villain he is, and he's got like a wife and like kids. He's also just like a shitty dad, and he's stupid. He's like a stupid idiot. It's boring.
I have no clue who the fuck this is for. If you actually read comics or know Marvel, MODOK's not really that big of a loser of a villain. Yeah, he's a little silly, but there's way fucking lamer villains out there than MODOK. He doesn't even breach the qualifiers. It's not really about him, because the MODOK in this show is nothing like the MODOK in the comics. It's just a claymation sitcom. Feels like the creators of this wanted to do something completely different than what it's supposed to be about. This was on Hulu, and it was kind of a part of the same block of Hulu Marvel shows, Hit Monkey, which is way fucking better than this. And they were planning to do a big crossover called The Offenders instead of The Defenders. And that would have been fucking awful, and I'm glad we never got that. But this show sucks. Show's really bad.
This show feels like if Robot Chicken made a skit about what a loser MODOK is without really knowing that much about MODOK, but then made an entire show about that one skit. Alright, now we got Molly of Denali, and I'm putting this one in This one aired on PBS Kids. It's about a Native American girl in Alaska who runs a blog, and the show mostly teaches about Native Alaskan culture and wildlife. It's a pretty cute show. Art style is nice, it's fairly modern, premiered in 2019. I'm gonna get an with most of the preschool shows, but it's really not bad, not annoying or offensive in any ways. Chill, cozy preschool cartoon. And here's something about it. It was canceled directly by Donald Trump because last year Trump terminated the Ready-to-Learn federal grant that issued funding to PBS Kids and allowed them to produce educational content for children's TV programming since 1995. Shows like Maya and Miguel, Martha Speaks, Between the Lions, Eleanor Wonders Why, Rough Ruffman, all those shows were funded by that grant, and yeah, last year it ceased all federal funding to the public broadcasting service because it was, quote, radical woke propaganda. That's a quote directly from whitehouse.gov.
That's so fucking stupid and kind of sad, but also kind of funny.
Next is Monster Allergy. I thought it was not very good. This is a French show based off of a graphic novel series about these two kids who track down monsters. In this world, there's monsters everywhere, but they're all invisible, and the only one who can see them is this blue-haired kid who looks like 2D from Gorillas. I didn't think it was particularly funny. It's got that same, like, French cartoon quality from the 2000s. Seems like, like Martin Mystery and whatnot. Silly, exaggerated sense of humor that's supposed to be like kind of like anime inspired, but not really, because it's just French. It's just French cartoon humor, I guess. So I didn't find it that charming. I like the art style though.
Yeah, it's got this very nice, like thick outlines, like early 2000s art style. It is kind of reminiscent a little bit of Gorillaz and like Jamie Hewlett's art style, but it's nice to look at. It's another one of those French cartoons, and this is a lot of them, and I've mentioned this before, I think many times, that it's nice to look at. It's just the writing that holds it back. Like, it's got a nice art style and everything. I don't know how much of that is the dub and just the language transition not helping it, or if it'd really be that bad if we were watching it in French. Could be better.
And then now we got Monster Loving Maniacs, which I'm putting in A tier. This is the episode where we talk about all the monster hunting shows, I guess. But this one's about like 3 children who help their granddad, who's a monster hunter. And I believe the premise of it is the 3 kids are like pro-monster, and they're like, monsters are misunderstood, but their grandfather is like a monster hunter, and that's where the conflict comes from. But yeah, they track down and hunt monsters, and that's the show, and it's not a bad premise. I thought that the first episode was so it's going in A tier. And now we got Monsters at Work, and I'd say that it was pretty good. I went into this expecting to not like it, but, I mean, it's because it's just cashing in on the Monsters, Inc. IP. It does rely on you to know what Monsters, Inc. is, which, of course, is the Pixar movie about monsters who run a factory where they go into the human world and get kids to scream, and that powers their electricity, and that's how their world is run, but then by the end of it, they have to switch from screams to laughter. They get kids to laugh, and that's what powers them instead of screaming. And this series takes place after that movie, and honestly, the premise of it is kind of interesting about this guy who like graduated top of his class at like Scaring University, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna make my life as to being like the scariest monster possible so that I can generate power for the city. But then the events of Monsters, Inc. happens, and so now he's just out of a job, and like his entire life falls apart because they have to switch to comedy instead of fear. And so the series is kind of him like trying to dig himself out of this hole that the world has created for him and try to be funny instead of scary. And the original Mike and Sully from Monsters, Inc. are in this show and are supporting cast members. But honestly, like, yeah, that premise I thought it was pretty good. The first episode was pretty good, and so that's why it's all the way up here.
Man, honestly, I would be so fucking pissed if I was this guy. I think I would kill Mike and Sully. Imagine you spend your fucking whole life getting good at something, and then because of the actions of like 2 people, it's like, no, we are fundamentally reordering our society to do the exact opposite of the thing you have dedicated your life to. Fuck you.
I don't know how to tell you this, Space, but that kind of has happened in real life within the past like 2 years because of AI.
We should kill Sam Altman.
And next is Monsters vs. Aliens. It's not very good. There's another one cashing in on a 2000s show involving monsters, except this one, like, sucks. DreamWorks characters for Monsters vs. Aliens, and wouldn't you know it, they have to become, like, alien hunters. Yeah, let's take this team of monsters, they're gonna track down aliens and hunt them. This show was so boring and unfunny. There's other shows like Penguins of Madagascar, and of course, like, the animation and art quality, like, dips down. But for this movie and show, it's like especially prevalent because the movie really kind of looked good, I would say. And this show just looks so horrible. Like they don't look like completely rendered, like switching from a game cutscene and then to like a in-game cinematic.
God, this show looks like a fucking PS2 game.
It does. And its writing is not good. All the characters are annoying. None of the jokes landed. It's just, they shouldn't have made this. They really shouldn't have made it. And I think it came out like several years after anybody cared about Monsters vs. Aliens at all. That was never one of DreamWorks' big movies that they were really well remembered for. They didn't need to make this. Now we got Motor City, which I'm putting in pretty good and is the best show that I'm going to be talking about in this episode by a wide margin, I would say. This show's animation and art is terrific. The characters are pretty dang great. I love the world building of it. It's got good action with the car scenes. We're talking about shows that look like a Gorillaz music video. This one just straight up looks like the Feel Good Inc. video if they made a show about racing cars in that one.
God, Motor City fucking rules. This show is great. I love this show. You've got like a fucking killer voice cast. Fucking Mark Hamill is the main villain. Everything about the way it looks is fucking awesome. The action is great. Characters are great. The fucking writing is great. The music is great. The show, I would put this way higher than just pretty good if it were my own list, but it, like, we only saw one episode of it.
Yeah, I only saw one episode of it, so I'm just keeping it in here until maybe I decide to watch more of it, then I'd rank it higher.
Yeah. I've seen all of this show. I love this show. The show would be in, like, a high good for me. It's a fucking good show.
I don't doubt it. From what I've seen, I was very impressed by it. Maybe I will eventually check out more of it, and it can go to a higher tier. But no, I'm going to keep it in pretty good, just based off of that first episode. Now we got Motu Patlu.
Motu Patlu Kijori. Motu Patlu Kijori.
Now,
I fucking love this show.
Now, I'm putting this one in A tier because this show sucks, but it's ironically hilarious to me.
What? This show doesn't suck. Okay, kind of, but hear me out. I actually think that I like this show, unironically, at least to a degree. Don't get me wrong, plenty of my enjoyment is still ironic, but I don't know, I just kind of like the dynamic of Motu and Patlu. They're just friends who go on wacky adventures in India. I think the main thing is just that the dynamic of Motu and Patlu kind of reminds me of the dynamic between Mario and Luigi in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and that's what I fuck with, and what I kind of like, because it feels like a modern reincarnation of that.
It's got a charm to it, for sure. I think what really rubs me the wrong way about it is its art style. It looks like Cocomelon. There, I said it. And I think that's what is holding it back from me.
It's not it's not Motu and Patlu's fault that Cocomelon is also made in an Indian sweatshop.
Well, it's somebody's fault, so... There's a few things that an animated piece of media can do that can get me to laugh without fail. There's characters that are speaking, and the actors in the voice booth are like way too close to the microphone. That's one of them. Something moving way faster than it is physically possible for it to do, and characters just being like turned into ragdolls and flying into something at Mach speed. All of those things are great, and Motu Patlu does some of those things, and so that makes me laugh. So it can be a funny show at times, and other times it's just like a brain rot, like nonsense, like garbage. So it's about finding that balance. Motu Patlu is teetering on that edge for me.
They are titans of Indian animation, along with Ninja and Kenichi, everybody else in the D-Say Dab video. Yeah, be sure to put that on so the audience knows what I'm talking about.
I'm sure there's people out there who fully know what I mean. You know who you are. Yeah, Motu Patlu, it's probably the best Indian show that's going to be on this tier list, unless there's one that I just completely forgot about. The Moxie show is... it's not very good. I mean, I'm not sure if I would call it a show, really. I mean, I guess it was. Basically, it was just like Adult Swim or Cartoon Network. They would just have like a segment. They do like bumpers with the Moxie show, doing like an intro and an outro and like a middle skit. And then in between it, they just play like an episode of the Flintstones or the Jetsons or whatever, just a Hanna-Barbera show. But then every now and then it would just play a clip of this character, Moxie the dog, voiced by Bobcat Goldthwait. It's like the first step that Cartoon Network made towards actual original programming. So I would feel bad leaving him out, but he's in a weird spot here.
It's very interesting, this show. This, along with another show we are going to talk about later, are very weirdly important to Cartoon Network's history. Like, this was technically their first exclusive original show.
Yeah.
And it had Bobcat Goldthwait in it, who is also very important in that other show, as he is like a very common recurring guest in Space Ghost. It's very interesting because it's not really like anything yet. This is like the cartoon equivalent of like fucking like Cambrian sea creatures and like the first fish to walk on land.
It's the cartoon equivalent of that one silent movie that was just a train going towards the camera and people thought the train was real.
Yeah, and people did not like this when it first came out.
I didn't like it now.
Yeah. It had terrible audience reception, and for a long time, it was partially lost media. In fact, I think it is still partially lost media. It's not a good show, but I do think that that's a shame, just because it's so fucking important for what it is, you know?
But yeah, it's in a weird spot. I mean, think about it. If you were doing a tier list of movies, where would you rank the clip of the train moving towards the camera? Where would you put that? I mean, it's not very good, but it's not garbage or anything. You gotta recognize it for what it is. So, here you go. Yeah. There's the Moxie show. And now we got Mr. Bean. Wait, isn't this the one that you actually said was like super important to the history of like the all cartoons, like media in general? It was the Mr. Bean show.
Yeah, I'll stand by that. Yeah.
I actually thought that the Mr. Bean show was kind of funny. I'm putting it in pretty good.
The Mr. Bean show is pretty funny. I like the Mr. Bean show.
I was not expecting to like it.
Mr. Bean, he'll fucking get you. You won't think he'll be funny, and then he'll do some funny shit. It doesn't have a very good art style, but it is a recognizable art style. And in general, this show is pretty funny. I think most Mr. Bean media is.
Well, the episode that we watched, the premise of it was Mr. Bean, he wanted like a pizza, and he decided to start making it and selling it to people, and he made like a Rube Goldberg machine that automatically makes pizzas in his kitchen. And then he just goes around and sells them and starts his own pizza selling business. But then that pisses off like this Italian mobster who runs a pizza store as like a front. And he's like, well, dang, our pizza business is failing because of this Mr. Bean guy. I'm going to send some people out to like bring him to my mansion and kill him. Then the episode resolves with Mr. Bean just giving him the Rube Goldberg machine to make pizzas, and all is well. It was a funny episode and had a lot of good gags in it, so what can I say? As just a comedy cartoon series, it was unexpectedly pretty good. And I got Mr. Magoo, the other old cartoon that starts with Mr. and it's just about this dumb guy going on little misadventures. I didn't like this one as much. I didn't like Mr. Magoo. I didn't like the jokes in it or the gags in it. I didn't know that like the second billing character in this show is like this like racist Chinese caricature. I didn't know about that guy.
I think you summed it up pretty well. I was also blindsided by the racist Chinese stereotype getting second billing. Pretty wild. I don't think that would fly today. But, you know, it's fucking Mr. Magoo. What else could you say about Mr. Magoo?
It's not very good. That's all I gotta say. And now, Mr. Pickles. It's garbage. We got another garbage tier show, ladies and gentlemen. It's Mr. Pickles. I hate this show. It's about a demonic dog and like a family, and it's really gross. Just this character, they're getting their nipples chopped off. Whoa. And everybody looks really ugly, like from a Mad segment. Everybody looks like they're drawn from the show Mad. And everything's really ugly and gross. And I hate everything about this show. Didn't laugh at a single joke. I was completely blank-faced the entire time, not reacting to anything going on here, except in just like mild disgust.
I also despise this show. It's just ugly and shock value. It's not funny. There's nothing like clever about it. It's hideous to look at. I don't know who this is for. It is the bottom of the barrel of adult animation. There are only a few other shows that give it a run for its money, and Brickleberry is one of them that tells you where this is at and what it's like.
Yeah, it's one of the worst shows I've ever seen. my entire life. And also there's Mucha Lucha. I remembered this show. I kind of remembered liking it, but then rewatching it, I don't think it holds up. It's kind of really ugly to look at, and the animation is terribly cheap and choppy. It's like it's animated in Flash, maybe. None of the jokes were funny. The whole joke is just that everybody is a luchador. It's about a boy who goes to luchador school to learn how to be a luchador, and like their whole society is just luchador themed. It just kind of makes me wish I was watching El Tigre, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a shame. I also remember liking this one as a kid, but it does not hold up. The animation is really terrible. It's very obviously done in Flash. As somebody who likes wrestling, I wish that there were better cartoons out there about wrestling.
Well, you don't like Mucha Lucha or Celebrity Deathmatch?
No, can't say that I do. Given that both of those are sitting in like the tier right below the bottom of the barrel. The only other fucking one is Invincible Fight Girl, and it's like, that one's not even good either.
Maybe one day they'll make a good wrestling cartoon.
Maybe.
Next is Mummies Alive. I'm putting this one in A tier. It's about a boy who brings some ancient Egyptian mummies back to life, and then he just kind of like has to hide them in his house. There's like an evil mummy sorcerer who's the villain of the show. It's alright, I guess, although there's like some things that I don't really jive with, like the big strong one who's like a stupid oaf who likes eating food, and that's like his whole character. Some of the characters are kind of like boring and tropey. That's my main complaint with it. Art style is pretty good. It's like a 90s action adventure show.
It is kind of like a poor man's Gargoyles, but it's not bad, you know? It's definitely no Gargoyles, but it's not bad.
And now we got My Dad, the Rock Star. I'm putting this one in eh. This one's about this 12-year-old kid who is the son of like a really famous rock star who looks like Gene Simmons. And the funny thing is, this show was like made by Gene Simmons. Like, you'd think that he would just be Gene Simmons in the show, but no, it's supposed to be like a Gene Simmons like look-alike or copy of whatever this world's version of Gene Simmons is. None of the other KISS members are mentioned or involved in it, but yeah, it's kind of an odd show. Like, is this supposed to be like a Gene Simmons vanity project? But overall, it's just kind of average. I'd say, like, forgettable. You know, it's nothing horrible or anything. Just A tier.
It's funny that it exists, but it is kind of like a Gene Simmons vanity project, like you said. It's not really anything.
Now I got My Gym Partner's a Monkey. It's pretty bad. I kind of hate this show.
Yeah, it's a shame. I remember liking this one as a kid, and the art style's not bad.
No.
You know, it's got that pleasant, like, thick outlines, early 2000s Cartoon Network art style. But the writing in this show is fucking awful. It's so hard to sit through. Every character is so fucking unlikable and annoying. Kind of gross out humor. It's all just fart jokes and ass jokes and poop jokes. It's not a good show.
It does not hold up.
Most of the character design's pretty alright. I love the backgrounds and like the design of like the school itself.
The artists were cooking.
Yeah, the artists were cooking.
And the writers were slipping.
Yeah.
Alright, getting into the My Little Pony shows. The ones that got 0 votes. You know, these are all the My Little Pony shows that like nobody actually remembers or cares about or anything. The ones that no one ever talks about. Starting with My Little Pony Make Your Mark. I thought it was pretty bad. CG animation. It's a Netflix show. It's the My Little Ponies, but they're like influencers and they got smartphones and whatnot. And
I am very decidedly not a My Little Pony fan, but I think if I was, I would be fucking pissed at this. If this is like what we got after the show that came before it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep going on. I'm gonna keep moving forward, because then we get My Little Pony in Friends. It's not and Friends, it's in Friends. And I also thought this one was pretty bad as well. This was the original one, like from the 80s, and it's basically just like a Care Bears situation. Like, oh, it's some like cute animals children's show aimed at young girls, but there's not really that much of a plot. It's just adventures in this fantasy land. And there's like these like ugly idiot witch villains who are like, who's like Gargamel from Smurfs. They're trying to capture the ponies for whatever reason. And it's just like a boring standard 80s show that's made to like market toys, I think. There's not much in there for story.
Yeah, there are occasionally funny moments in this show. Like I know about the like volcano clip, and that's pretty funny. But on average, this is a very boring show to watch and sit through, much like Care Bears.
All right, and now the final show for this podcast episode. It's My Little Pony Tales. And I'm putting this one all the way up in not very good, so that's a big step up from the last two. Because this one, I think the writers actually, like, tried a little bit. This one is, like, ponies, but doing, like, slice-of-life adventures. They go to school and go to the park and have picnics or whatever. The one episode that we watched was about them in school, and they were doing, like, a mock court trial about who stole one of the characters' cassette player. It wasn't good. It was still boring, I thought, but it's not nothing like the other ones were. So that's where I would rank the 90s My Little Pony show.
Surprisingly adequate. I didn't throw up.
And there you have it. That's all the shows that got 0 votes that started with the letter M. Next one will be the letter N's and some other ones too. Until then, I will be seeing you next time.